I talk a lot in the book about the past is not the past when it shows up in the present, and
Yeah.
so I talked about in the book and talk about triggers, that idea of me, eating the carrots, vomiting, and being thrown in the
Hmm.
garbage, and then fast forward, I'm 28 years old, and I go to a wedding, and I'm sitting there with my wife, and there's steak and there's potatoes and there's carrots, and I don't even think about it, and I take a bite, and it
Dear.
really, talk about the book, The Body Keeps the Score,
Yeah.
I take a bite of the carrots and I immediately gag. I didn't make the connection,
Hmm.
but my body did.
Hmm.
Another one, Lisa, I talk about is when I was growing up, when my dad would come home, the garage door would go up, and I'd hear the garage door go up,
Hmm.
and my body would just tense.
Hmm.
It just tighten, and I would be triggered. And so fast forward, Debbie and I get married, and we move into a house with automatic garage doors. And so Debbie comes home from teaching, and the garage door goes up, and I didn't know then. I had no idea, but my body just froze.
Hmm.
And so that idea that, sometimes people will say things like, oh, the past is the past, but it's just not true. The past is not the past when it shows up in the present. And
Yeah.
for people that have gone through abuse, or people that have had trauma, there are a lot of triggers that
Hmm.
they live with. And I would say to you that, weekly I'm triggered by different things that happen. And
Hmm.
at least now, you talk about having somebody safe to talk to, and I have a
Hmm.
group of people that I could talk to, and that feels really safe to me.
Hmm.
And they don't look at me like I have three heads. I feel like I do sometimes with some of them, but it just helps me to be able to process and to regulate and to get more balanced. Because
Right.
sometimes it feels like the trauma of whenever it was shows up today, and it feels like it's happening today.
It's so bizarre because it completely feels like that moment. Like when I was being triggered, I mean, for me, I think the first thing you need in order to really begin your healing is self-awareness, right? Because self-awareness is what kind of opens a door and makes you realize a lot of things. And I when I realized I was being triggered and I looked over at my husband and I said that, I scanned my body. I scanned, to see what was going on with it. And it I knew why I was being triggered. Once I realized I was being triggered, I knew exactly what caused it. And I felt exactly that same way I did that moment 40 years ago or whatever it was that caused that trigger. And I had all those emotions in my body, had all those feelings. And I just had, as soon as I said it, I said, I'm being triggered clearly because this is irrational what I'm thinking and what I'm saying. It's crazy. He just smiled at me. And then I could breathe and get myself calmed down and say, okay, we're going to go do whatever it was we were going to go do. And I was fine.
Yeah, there's such the research indicates it, and I've seen it in my own life. There's such a disconnect in your body, between your brain and your
Yes.
body. And the other thing is, for me in my story, wanting to cut off what I'm feeling.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so that's been an ongoing challenge for me to feel my
Mhm.
feelings, because
Mhm.
at a young age I learned to cut them off.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that's a challenge for me. But like you talked about, it's a process, it's ongoing.
Mhm.
It's on this side of heaven. There's no you know a one and done that you're going to be healed.
No.
It's ongoing healing.
Mhm.
And it's a great journey, but it's a tough journey, and I don't want to minimize that, but it's definitely worthwhile.
And as you begin your healing, and I call it like one of the things I feel as my healing grows is freedom. There's just freedom, and there's just
Absolutely.
like a freedom within me and just a really good space. And that for me is what motivates me to continue to grow and to heal, because one of the things that us childhood abuse survivors have to deal with is kind of cleaning up the mess that we've done over the years when we were living in our survival mode or when we were in that place, right? And we hurt a lot of people and we said things and we did things. And I still catch myself cringing, you know. But we do need to forgive ourselves. And that's part of the healing process,
Absolutely. And I think that, I talk about it in the book, just like a lot of brokenness that I had, a lot of maladaptive behaviors, a lot of sexual brokenness. And I talk, for me, like I said, my faith is really important to be
Mm-hmm.
able to have the grace that I receive from God, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to move forward and to
Mm-hmm.
be able to realize that, you talked about awareness, when you are so traumatized, you don't have a lot of awareness. And
Right.
so as you begin recovery, awareness is a key to
Yep.
be able to change behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And so, realizing that, if I would have known better, I would have done better. But,
Right.
I talk about that simple thing,
Yeah.
hurt people, and it's really
Yeah.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Rohr says that if we don't transform our pain, we transmit it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
We don't transform it, we transmit it.
uh,
Ooh, that's true.
that's just the nature of the beast. And
Mm-hmm.
so being able to step back and say, even today, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was 5 years ago or 6 years ago or 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is something that I remind people when they're in their growing and when they're in their healing and they get discouraged and they get frustrated. It's like, think back, where were you a year ago? Where were you 5 years ago? Where were you 10 years ago? If you can see growth, you're on the right path. Like you said, it's not one and done, and it's not like, oh, this magical thing is going to fix it. It is a process. This stuff happened to us when we were children and our little brains. I mean, as adults, we can't rationalize it, right? Right here as an adult, I can't rationalize hurting a child. How can a child rationalize that? Right?